Have Bitcoin and silver found their bottom yet? And will the S&P 500 soon fall to the pressure of a 9-month bearish divergence? And are the small cap stocks still outperforming their bigger brother? We'll answer all those questions, take a look at a new trade idea, and check in with our 4 trades from Monday's Power Trader Live in this market forecast. Let's start with the S&P 500. Here we've got bearish divergence that's been developing seemingly forever, going back almost 9 months to the middle of May last year as the MACD indicator continues to fall while the S&P 500 makes higher highs. This is a problem. We've been talking about it now for several weeks in these market forecasts, and while I can't tell you exactly when this is going to resolve, I can tell you that a 9-month bearish divergence is unusual. And the longer this goes, the more I'm starting to think that price action may not be able to hold up, and it's only a matter of time until we see a retracement. Now, to be clear, I'm not forecasting a change in trend. I don't think we're going to go from a bullish trend to a bearish trend. I don't think we're looking at a market crash, but I do think that the market needs to rest a little bit. Another reason I think that, if we take a look at seasonality, this week looks pretty good. Starting on Monday, we're in the 96th percentile of best trading weeks. But as we go out a month, that drops significantly. More concerning than that, if we look at this composite of the S&P 500, you can see that around mid to late February, we begin to typically see a sell-off going into the end of the first quarter and into the second quarter. This is the average of the last 10 years of the S&P 500 together. We're getting ready to round this corner. Another reason I think we're looking at a potential pullback is based on the seasonality of a presidential election cycle. Here in light blue, you can see the second year of a presidential term. Let's kind of track with that here. And we get to about somewhere between the 40th and 50th trading day of the year, and things begin to sell off. Any clues on where we're at right now? The 39th day, trading day of the year. It would make a lot of sense based on the seasonal trend of this presidential election cycle that we're getting ready to experience a pullback. Going back to the S&P 500, we've got a ETF that is struggling to make new highs and divergence that is just relentless. I think we're looking at a little bit of a pullback going into late February. Furthermore, if we do eke out a higher high later this week and MACD fails to make a higher high, that's only reinforcing the concerns that we have about bearish divergence. Last week, we also looked at small cap stocks, ticker symbol RUT for the Russell's 2000, and compared them in their relative strength to the S&P 500. And we said, as this line is going down, it means that our big brothers, the large cap stocks, are outperforming. But as this chart rounds the bottom, it means that the small cap stocks are starting to outperform. And we saw that continuing last week, where the small cap stocks performed better than the large cap stocks. That's going to come back and play an important role in our trading decisions this week, as 2 of our 4 trades that we placed on Monday were from the small cap stocks. We'll look at those in just a second. Before we do, I want to check out silver. We talked about silver last week and its historic plummet from its high up here around $109 all the way at one point near the bottom at $65. Now, what's remarkable about this, even though we've had that huge sell-off year to date, we're still actually up on silver. It's amazing. Now, I programmed a little indicator that'll show us significant retracements on silver. This is showing me anytime silver has retraced at least 30%. And let's expand this out to 10 days or more. It's not taken 10 days this go around. We've retraced 30% in less than 10 days, but let's give it a little bit of wiggle room because candidly, we've never retraced that fast on silver before. Now, here's another instance where we pulled back at least 30% in 10 days. And guess what? This was the bottom. Silver took off after that. Let's relax this a little bit and say 20% in 5 days. Obviously, we've exceeded that current events, but I want to get an idea for when silver has pulled back significantly, what has happened in the past. Here was a 20% in 5-day retracement. What happened? Silver went up. Even if we went sideways a little bit, silver continued up. How about here? Silver continued up. Let's go back to current events. What do we think is going to happen? Candidly, I think silver is going to go up. That too influenced our trading decisions. We'll talk about those in just a second. Another thing that's been crashing has been Bitcoin. If you've been on social media at all, you've of course seen everybody shedding tears over the collapse of Bitcoin. And indeed, it has pulled back significantly, but I don't think this is the end of the world. And in fact, I think we may be getting close to finding a bottom. Here's why I believe that. Let's pull up a Fibonacci tool. This is kind of our theme in February. We're calling it Fibonacci February. Come join us in Power Trader and we'll talk all about that. And I just want to see where this little pullback ended. We'll pick this measuring spot here and come down. Let's find a spot right there. Beautiful. Let's dial this in a little bit better. Perfect. What you'll see is Bitcoin traded on down and bounced off this upper Fibonacci line. That's interesting, isn't it? We know that these points are valuable because the framework provided a support. Let's keep this point the same, but scoot out here to this other high back in 2025, and you'll see that we have a similar bounce off from this Fibonacci grid. Great. Everything is working out. Now let's come back up to this current high that we're at and notice that we are again bouncing off this Fibonacci grid. In fact, not only have we found some support at the top, but when that broke, we're now finding some potential support at the bottom of this Fibonacci grid. Let me make this really simple for you. I'm going to draw a box around these three lines. And here's what I tell my students when we're in Power Trader. As long as we trade to or within, but not below this green box, then we are still in a bullish framework. And this is kind of our last stand here. Either Bitcoin is going to bounce or it's going to continue plummeting, potentially all the way on down towards around 20,000 or so. I'm optimistic. I think Bitcoin could find a bottom here and continue on higher. And indeed, we've seen that recently, with a significant bounce last week on Friday and then some continuation following through. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. Now, here's how we might look at trading this. There's a couple stocks that correlate well to the Bitcoin bounce. Coinbase is one of them. It's a broker that specializes in Bitcoin, and you can see that this chart looks pretty similar to the Bitcoin chart. Now, the problem I have with Coin is that earnings are coming up on Thursday, which is not that far in the future, but not super helpful as you're watching this market forecast. Another stock that trends well with Bitcoin is Robinhood. You can see again, this chart looks fairly similar. And if we took the time to draw fibs on this, they're going to line up well. Robinhood also has earnings coming up, but they are Tuesday. They're today in the evening. So let today pass. Don't trade over earnings. And on Wednesday, pull up Robinhood and see if you can find yourself a trade. I would be looking at Robinhood trending on back up towards around 120 or so. It would definitely get my stop below recent support. That leads us into our trades from Power Trader. I'm going to go take a look at the morning glory that we just placed today on SPXL. This was a monster trade that we experienced. We got into this. This was barely qualified. We got into this right at market open and went straight to target. In fact, I've posted that session on YouTube. You can go back. It should be the video before this market forecast and take a look at how that played out in real time. Now, in full disclosure, if you watch that video, you know that I got out a little bit early. I only put about $40 cash in my jeans, but it took me just about 2 minutes. It was so fast. Everybody else who stayed in, they made about $60, $70. We did not take a full position. Again, you can watch that full recording. But for those that stayed in this trade, this was a 1, 2, 3, almost 4R trade. Unbelievable. If you took a full position on this morning glory, you'd be up almost $700 on one of our funded trading accounts first thing on Monday. What an amazing trade. If you enjoy these kinds of trades and want to walk through a morning glory trade with me as it unfolds, I encourage you to come check out our Power Trader trial. It's just $10. The link is in the description below. You get an entire month of Power Trader where you'll see me place morning glory trades and other trades that we're about to review. Come join us on a Monday morning in Power Trader. I think you'll love it. It's $10, and tell you what, if you don't love it, I'll give you your $10 back. Now, let's continue on. After the morning glory, we moved on and we took a look at CRDO Tech, ticker symbol CRDO. Here's our trade from CRDO. I wish we could have got into this just a little bit earlier, but we didn't notice it until today. Here we are. We're nicely profitable on this with the target on down the road at 133 or so. If you missed this on Monday, I think there's still an opportunity to enter. This could continue on for quite some time, even after our target. One last thing to mention about CRDO before I move on is that this is a small cap stock. And so we took this trade based on our understanding that small cap stocks are currently outperforming large cap stocks. Another small cap stock is ticker symbol PPTA, Perpetua Resources. This is a mine that, guess what? Mines silver and gold. And based on our understanding of silver and the anticipated bounce that we're seeing, we jumped into this trade on Monday and it is nicely profitable. On both this trade and the last one, I have moved my stop up to profitable. So should this pull back and turn negative, we're out. We're going to put cash in our jeans. But again, if you missed this trade on PPTA, Perpetua, I think there's an opportunity to still enter this trade and trade it on up near around $36.50 or so. That's it for today's market update. Blessings and favor on your trades this week. Don't forget to sign up for your Power Trader trial. And if there's anything else we can do to serve you, including a funded trading account, please reach out to us, info@tradesmartu.com. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next market forecast.